The day had stretched endlessly for YN. She had spent hours trying to engage their daughter, Yul, while fighting an overwhelming sense of loneliness. Jungkook had been absent in every way that mattered lately, his time entirely consumed by work. Tonight, as he walked through the door later than usual, exhaustion written all over his face, YN felt her patience finally snap. Jungkook barely had time to set his bag down before YN confronted him, her arms crossed tightly over her chest, her face a mixture of hurt and frustration. YN, biting her lip before speaking, do you even remember what Yul looks like? She's been asking about you all day. She's starting to think you don't want to be around her. Jungkook, sighing heavily, YN, please don't start this tonight. I've had a long day. YN, her voice rising, a long day. Every day is long for you, Jungkook. And every day, we're left wondering where you are, wondering if you even care anymore. Jungkook's shoulders tensed as he turned to face her, his tired eyes now flashing with irritation. Jungkook, gritting his teeth, don't do that. Don't make it sound like I don't care. You know why I'm working so hard. YN, tears brimming in her eyes, do I? Because it doesn't feel like it. All I know is that Yul and I don't even recognize the man who walks through that door anymore. It's like, you're a stranger. The room seemed to hum with the tension between them. Jungkook ran a hand through his hair, his frustration bubbling over. Jungkook, his voice cold, you think I want to be away? You think I like this? I'm doing this for you too. So you can have everything you deserve. YN, her voice trembling, what we deserve. What we deserve is your time, your presence, not just some house or plans for the future. We deserve you, Jungkook. Her words seemed to hit him, but instead of softening, his expression hardened. He shook his head, his jaw clenched tightly as he looked away. Jungkook, his tone sharp, maybe you should be a little more grateful for what I'm trying to do. YN, her voice breaking, grateful. Grateful for being left behind. For watching Yul wonder why her father barely talks to her anymore. Jungkook stared at her, his expression a mix of anger and hurt. He didn't have a response, or maybe he didn't want to say the wrong thing. Instead, he grabbed his bag and stormed upstairs without another word, his footsteps echoing loudly on the wooden stairs. YN stood there, frozen in place, her chest heaving with the weight of unsaid words and lingering emotion. She didn't know whether to cry or scream. As the sound of a door slamming upstairs reverberated through the house, she sank onto the couch, burying her face in her hands. The silence that followed was deafening, a stark contrast to the loud, painful exchange moments before. YN sat on the couch, her knees pulled up to her chest, staring blankly at the floor. The weight of the argument hung heavily in the air, each word replaying in her mind. Her phone vibrated on the table, pulling her from her thoughts. She hesitated, seeing Jimin's name on the screen, but eventually picked up. YN. Softly, hello. Jimin. His tone concerned, hey, YN. Is Jungkook okay? He looked off today. I was worried. YN frowned, confused by Jimin's question. Jungkook hadn't mentioned anything unusual. YN. Off. What do you mean? Jimin. Sighing, didn't he tell you? He's been working on a huge deal for months, something he was really passionate about. It fell through this morning. YN's grip tightened on the phone. Deal? What deal? He didn't say anything to me. Jimin. It was supposed to fund a big family trip. He wanted to surprise you and Yul. He's been killing himself over this, YN. Late nights, the stress, it was all for you too. YN's breath caught in her throat, the weight of Jimin's words sinking in. She thought back to their argument, how Jungkook had tried to explain his long hours, and how she had brushed it aside in her frustration. YN. Barely above a whisper, I didn't know. Jimin. Gently, he's been trying so hard, YN. Maybe cut him some slack. He's hurting more than he lets on. YN closed her eyes, guilt washing over her like a tidal wave. She had been so focused on her own feelings of neglect that she hadn't considered what Jungkook might be going through. YN. Determinedly, thanks, Jimin. I need to fix this. Jimin. Take it easy on him. He loves you, YN. As she hung up the phone, YN sat for a moment, gathering her thoughts. The sharp sting of regret twisted in her chest. Standing up, she took a deep breath and made her way upstairs, determined to make things right. Determined to make amends, YN climbed the stairs quietly, her heart heavy with regret and a budding resolve to fix the damage. She pushed open the bedroom door with gentle caution, expecting to find Jungkook pacing or lost in his thoughts. Instead, the sight before her made her stop in her tracks, her breath hitching. Jungkook lay on the bed, shirtless, his toned body relaxed against the rumpled sheets. Sprawled across his chest was their daughter, Yul, her tiny frame curled up as if she belonged nowhere else. Her small hands clung to his shoulders, her face tucked against his neck. The soft rise and fall of their synchronized breathing created a peaceful rhythm that filled the room. Despite the day's tensions, they looked utterly at peace, bound together by an unspoken love. Yn felt her chest tighten as she absorbed the scene. The harsh words they had exchanged earlier now seemed distant and trivial. The depth of Jungkook's love for their family was evident in the way his arm protectively rested across Yul's back, as though shielding her even in sleep. She approached them cautiously, her steps light on the wooden floor. Perching herself on the edge of the bed, Yn studied their sleeping forms. The dim light of the room cast a soft glow on Jungkook's features, highlighting the faint crease of stress that lingered even in his slumber. Her fingers itched to smooth it away. Reaching out, Yn gently ran her fingers through Jungkook's messy hair, the strands soft beneath her touch. He stirred slightly, a faint murmur escaping his lips, but he didn't wake. Yn, softly, almost to herself, "I'm so sorry, Jungkook. I should have understood what you were going through." Her voice wavered as she leaned down, pressing a tender kiss to his forehead. Her lips lingered, her silent apology conveyed through the warmth of her touch. Jungkook's lashes fluttered, his eyes slowly opening to meet hers. His gaze was groggy but softened the moment it landed on Yn. For a second, neither spoke, the tension from earlier replaced by quiet understanding. "Jungkook." His voice rough with sleep. "Yn." She smiled, brushing his hair away from his face. "Shish, go back to sleep. I just wanted to say I'm sorry." Before he could respond, Yul stirred, her tiny voice breaking the quiet. "Dada," she mumbled, still half asleep, clinging tighter to Jungkook. Yn chuckled softly, her fingers grazing Yul's hair. "She really missed you," she said, her eyes meeting Jungkook's. "We both did." Jungkook's lips curved into a faint smile as he tightened his hold on Yul. "I missed you too," he murmured, his voice filled with sincerity. Yn leaned down, placing another soft kiss on his cheek before tucking the blanket around them both. "Rest. We'll talk in the morning." As she sat back, watching the two loves of her life nestled together, Yn felt a renewed sense of gratitude. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she knew they could face them, together. A peaceful silence enveloped them until Jungkook again opened his eyes and with a playful glint sparkled in his eyes. "Jungkook." Grinning, "Yul's been saying something interesting lately, you know." Yn tilted her head, curiosity piqued. "What's that?" "Jungkook. Mock serious, she says she wants a sibling. Actually, she asked me to talk to you about it." Yn blinked, her cheeks heating instantly. "Jungkook." Jungkook's grin widened, his mischief shining brighter. "What? I'm just trying to be a good dad. Can't let her down, can I?" Yn groaned, covering her face as laughter bubbled out despite herself. "You're impossible." Jungkook shifted slightly, careful not to disturb Yul, his free hand tugging Yn closer to him. "Jungkook. But you love me, and that's what counts." Yn shook her head, her laughter melting into a smile as she leaned into him. "Yeah, I do, even when you're teasing me." Together, they lay there, Yn nestled against Jungkook's side, Yul still safely on his chest. For the first time in days, everything felt right, and they both knew they would face whatever came next as a family.